forward.
I agree.
One area that has been improved this year, not quite where it needs to be just yet, that's special teams. We'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for listening to Locked On Sooners, tuning in, subscribing to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube, so make sure you hit that subscribe button over there. Special teams has been I would say it's been a win. It's been a plus unit for the Oklahoma Sooners for the most part in 2024. One of the great revelations has been the resurgence of Zach Schmidt, Jay.
Yeah. I mean, he's gone out here. He has 7 field goals so far, and he's made all 7 of them. So I know that we had these issues with kicking over the last couple of years, and so we were super concerned about special teams there. But it appears that has, for the most part, been fixed. Schmidt went out here and made a 56-yard field goal. He made a 44-yarder against South Carolina, a 39-yarder out there in Auburn. He made 2 field goals at Auburn, one for between 20 and 29, one at 30, 39, 39 yards. So he was 2 for 2 on the road in a hostile environment that everyone keeps telling us is cursed. You can't beat that, right?
Yep.
You're getting some clutchness out of your special teams. And, of course, Zinger has been like our MVP just about every single week because dude has been nails when it comes to punting the ball into the perfect spots. I mean, it's kind of weird to talk about our punter being really, really good. But, hey, the Oklahoma Sooners have to use him a lot. So he's been coming through in the clutch, which is all that matters. But, John, when I'm watching him, Tyler Keltner is 12 for 13 on the extra point, 7 for 9 on field goals. It's crazy to see that we have 2 kickers that have made 50-yard field goals this year. Keltner hit a 50-yarder and Schmidt hit a 56-yarder.
Yeah, it's just cool to see Zach Schmidt rebound after what was a disappointing and difficult season for him last year.
Brutal.
Missed 2 kicks against Oklahoma State in a game that you lost by 6. I mean, that one I think sits probably in his craw, and now he's been perfect. The unfortunate part of it is Oklahoma's offense has been so bad that we haven't been able to take advantage of it. I know you're looking at the stats too. He has just 12 extra points this season. 12. Just 12. That's ridiculous. I know he hasn't been the place kicker all year, but 12 extra points, that should be the span of 2 or 3 games at the most. And yet he is not getting a ton of work. Again, those 7 field goals. He had 2 extra points attempts against Missouri, none against South Carolina, none against Texas. He had 2 extra point attempts against Mississippi. So, I mean, he's having a great year. I just wish we could use him more. I wish we could get into kicking territory more, but we just haven't been able to do that. But to the special teams credit, Luke Elzinga has done a great job. I mean, since taking over in the middle of last season, he's been your punter. There's been no question about who's your punter, and he's been an effective piece. I know some people talk about it as an offensive weapon, but I mean, he really helps the defense out by putting other teams in bad situations, in bad field position. And that's why there was so much angst, I guess, over Oklahoma going for it on 4th and 1 last week against Missouri. When you have a weapon like Luke Elzinga that could pin a team deep and make them drive 85, 90 yards for a touchdown, that's a weapon. And then the fact that you were able to now rely upon your kicking game, it's fantastic. Again, I just wish it was in a season in which Oklahoma was more competitive, because special teams can make such a big difference when those games are so tight. We just haven't had the offense to really take advantage of that. Oklahoma got out to a 9-3 lead on the leg of Zach Schmidt and on the leg of Luke Elzinga playing the field position game. It just, again, couldn't hang on to it.
And I understood why they went for it. I mean, there's a little of aggression that came from the reason why they did it. But at the same time, you're right.
Mizzou's not moving the ball.
Right. Take advantage of the guy that's out there. He's going to pin them. He could have pinned them down inside the 5, and your defense could have went out there and really made it hell for them. That's what you need to do. This Brent Venables defense has shown us that they can. They bend very well, and unfortunately, in some games, they do end up breaking in the end in some moments, but they have bended very well throughout the season and have really done a good job of stopping teams from scoring at points that they shouldn't score. we should have leveraged Elzinger on that fourth down, because I think if he would have punted on that fourth down, Missouri would not have scored, because that was the one where they end up driving like short yardage and they ended up getting that touchdown, the first touchdown. Mm-hmm. That would have eliminated that. You eliminate that, game stays tied even with the unfortunate circumstances. But no, I really want to praise them, because I mean, Tyler Keltner, he kicked the first 5 games and he had just as many extra points as Schmidt, 12, but he was 12 for 13. He actually missed one, and that was the one he missed against Tennessee, which is still such a weird game, just a weird one. But unfortunately, both of them, if I'm correct, will be gone next season, so we'll be right there. But we got Liam. Liam is 1 for 1. Mm-hmm. So we've got the heir apparent
5-star.
Yeah, we've got we got the Coles 5-star, so we've got the heir apparent that we have to worry about, and he'll be leading the way going into. Well, he's 1 for 1 on extra points. He hasn't actually kicked a field goal yet, but he'll be leading us the way into next season. And so I'm not really that stressed about what's going forward, but I'm glad to see that our special teams has improved. Now, on the kicking side, the one thing we do need to work on, which I think Duncan is going to be working on, is catching the darn ball and not miffing it. Because we seem to just miss where the ball is. It's like we lose the ball in the lights somehow, and I don't get that. Like, we're the only ones that do it. Other teams aren't muffing it like we are. We're muffing it like crazy. I expect that to be rectified this spring, to where next season we ain't thinking about it like no more.
Yeah, and I'd like to give them maybe the wind benefit of the doubt, because Oklahoma winds are crazy, and inside that stadium it can get a little weird, but everybody has to deal with it.
Yes, nobody else
and nobody is struggling with it near like Oklahoma is. So
exactly
why we can't have a punt returner that is capable of just fielding the kicks. Shoot, put Taylor Tatum back there, your future center fielder for Oklahoma baseball. You think he's going to have a hard time tracking the ball in the air? I hope not. I know Skip Johnson hopes not.
Got a few baseball players you could do that with, but why can't we have nice things, John? Why can't we have nice things?
But hey, listen, special teams is improving. Now that's the next step, is getting something positive and productive out of your return game, because it can't be just neutral for you if you expect to win big games. And it certainly cannot be a net negative for you.
No,
if you expect to win big games. The first score that Missouri got this past weekend was on a muffed kick. We saw it last year with Gavin Freeman, just the struggles that he had, taking the punt. So got to figure out how to get that better. Doug Deacon, that'll be your number one priority this offseason, in addition to making sure Oklahoma's punting game doesn't miss a beat as Luke Elzingo goes off to the NFL, because he will be punting in the NFL next year and years and for years in the future. Another guy that might be playing in the NFL, he might be a freshman All-American this year. He's kind of taken the Oklahoma Sooners by storm. We'll discuss him coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.